Good evening and welcome to the Wednesday, April 5th, 2023 meeting of the Property Committee. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one here. Can we get a pause and a redo? No? All right, let's try that again, shall we? Yes. Welcome to the Thursday, April 6th, 2023 meeting of the Property Committee. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order with our roll call this evening. Thank you very much to Vice Chair Johnston for stepping in and joining us. We also have present Member Biles and Member Byrne. So we do now, with your assistance, have a quorum. Thank you very much. On to our consent agenda. If you direct your attention to item number 2A and B, item number 2A is the minutes to approve for March 9th, 2023 regular meeting, as well as the February 16th, 2023 special meeting, and the approval of bills and transfers. Might I have a motion to go ahead and put the consent agenda on the floor? Thank you very much for the motion, Member Byrne, and a second from Member Biles. All those in favor of passing the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? And the consent agenda passes. Moving along to item number 3, do we have an appearance by any members of the public or county employees?
We have had no requests this evening.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to item number 4, departmental matters, takes us to 4A, facilities management. And that brings us to item number 4A1, to be presented for action, the request approval of agreements with Trane to perform annual chiller maintenance. May I have a motion to put this item on the floor? Motion by Member Johnston. Do I have a second? Second by Member Byrne. And then, oh yeah, go ahead.
If I may?
Yeah, please.
Chair Lehman, I'd like to introduce Joe Gaither. Joe Gaither is assisting us with some of the interim director duties while we are in transition. And he has the action item to present this evening.
Good evening, everybody. Is there any questions regarding this item?
Member Johnston.
Thank you. No, I don't have a question particular about the maintenance, but it does in the note to the committee, it talks about how we don't need to do maintenance on the one that was just installed, the chiller. What's the timeline for that? Is it just a 1 year and then we need to start doing annual maintenance, or is that longer?
Actually, the maintenance for the first year is included.
Okay.
And so because it was included in the install, that's why it's not on here for.
So it will be checked. It's just
Yes.
we've already paid for it.
Correct.
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then kind of bouncing off, if I could, of what Member Johnston asked. Typically, when we make a purchase like this for chillers, is it only like a 1 year kind of warranty or maintenance contract they give us, or do we have optionality on the purchase to have kind of extended maintenance or warranty type stuff being built in?
That's a really good question. The standardized for the industry is usually 1 year, and then anything beyond that is contractual agreement. If that's something that the committee would like us to research further on future purchases, we can look at that to see if they would offer a longer time frame on those maintenances.
Yeah, I would definitely defer to the experts in knowing if it's something that would be a cost savings potentially, as well as looping in the company who we're getting it from if they have potentially any additional expertise that would be helpful. I would essentially and ultimately defer to you all as experts, but just kind of ask the question to maybe pique the interest.
So I do believe that Trane was the installer of the chiller and is also the company that we are contracting with. So it is the same company for both install and maintenance contract. Is that correct, Joe?
That is correct.
But there might be opportunity within our Omnia Partners negotiations to extend that initial first-year warranty to maybe a 2-year agreement we could see.
Okay, thank you very much. And then I was also kind of curious. I noted that that this one is for just for the Law and Justice Center and the Government Center because we have new chillers in the other buildings from last year. And in the Law and Justice Center, we I was just curious what the age is on that one because it's not on the 5-year capital improvement plan. Is that something that is going to be worked in down the line? Do we have like a longer shelf life on that one than others, or did we perhaps buy a bunch of chillers all at the same time and we should anticipate this one needing love a little soon?
That's a good question. Unfortunately, I don't have that information. I can look it up and get that information back to you. Sorry.
Wonderful. No, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Other comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, let's go ahead and bring this one to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All right, any opposed? And the motion passes. Thank you very much. That brings us to 4A2, which is items to be presented for information. And I believe we have the Facilities Management Monthly Report. Would there be anything to highlight on there that you'd like to call out?
I think really the biggest thing, we had a couple of items we finished up today, which was at Juvenile Detention Center. We had the switch gear, the spark arrestor chutes. We had those replaced today. We had to do a power interrupt for that. And then we also got the backflow preventers on the fire suppression system today. So those were a couple of big items that were in our eyesight for situations that we needed to get taken care of. So that was a big one for us to get checked off this week. So.
Excellent. Thank you for your attention on those things because big items and important items and safety items, definitely appreciate all of the follow through with it. If I might, I did have a question. I noticed on the Government Center there was a notation of a roof leak, and that's another one of those things that I didn't see on the capital improvement plan. So I was curious with the roof leak at the Government Center, is that something that is large enough that was it like a one-off thing, or is that something that indicates potentially a larger issue that we might need to look at a larger scale preventative repair or replacement?
Actually, that's another good question. What we're experiencing is the roof leaks that we are having at the Government Center is when we have strong winds, along with the precipitation out of the northeast and east. The large rain we had the other night that came out of the southwest did not affect the building. So it's suspectful that it's possibly on the wall above the mezzanine, where the weather's striking that wall in that area, and then it's finding its way behind. So we're currently trying to figure out exactly where that is, if it needs to be windows or the fascia, or what exactly we need to seal on that. We're just trying to pinpoint exactly what the cause is, but it's not actually, we've determined it's not actually a roof leak as far as a traditional roof leak.
Fantastic news that it's not a traditional roof leak, and I wish you the best in problem solving and troubleshooting exactly where it is, so it can be amended for the future. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other comments or questions on the monthly report? Alrighty, Mr. Gaither, thank you so very much. Definitely appreciate you being here tonight and sharing your expertise with us.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, let's move right on along to 4B, where we're going to meet up with Mr. Steffa, Director of Parks and Recreation. Mr. Steffa doesn't have any items to be presented for action, but we do see that you've got your items to be presented for monthly information, including the monthly report and lagoon update. Mr. Steffa, I defer to you.
Yeah, I do not have any action items, but I'd be happy to answer any questions about the monthly report or the lagoon update as best I can.
Member Johnston.
I would be interested in a lagoon update.
Tony, you can help me out on this if you would, please, um, as far as the lagoon goes, it says on my memo that we're requesting I'm sorry, I apologize, I just got back to work. Did that get passed in the previous?
We will be presenting this for action next month. Oh, that's right. This is with ARPA funds, and so this will be going through executive committee for approval, and so it's introduced here as an information item. I forgot it was on ARPA funds. So that is why it's information only, Mike. But we are requesting help from a sanitary engineer to come out and provide us with some assessment of the overall system. As you know, we did invest funds about a year and a half ago into the lagoon to pump out sludge that had been collecting in the bottom of that. As we did that work, we identified additional needs through our sanitary engineer that need to be addressed to keep us in compliance. And so this is somewhat preventative, but mostly engaging in maintenance to make sure that we stay in compliance.
So just to follow up, like the current state of the lagoon is not causing any problems with the bathhouse or the bathrooms or with the campers?
We do have a problem with the inflow right now, and we're hoping to get that taken care of within the next week.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Steffa. Any other comments or questions? I believe Mr. Byrne, Member Byrne. Wonderful. Member Wiles.
Did the material get delivered for the boathouse? Okay.
It got delivered today, and Raglan Buildings is anticipating on starting on Monday.
Fantastic. Thank you.
More wonderful news all the way around. Thank you very much for that update. And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't say a big thank you to your team and as well to the facilities team for accommodating the property tour that we had last week. It was incredibly informative, definitely helpful for the time of year that we had it to be able to anticipate some of our updates to the 5-year capital improvement plan, as well as to the budget process. So thank you very much to everybody who was on your teams that hopped in to help us out and to make sure we were able to see everything. And I'll say it again later, but a very big thank you to administration for all the legwork that you all put in to make this possible as well. So thank you, team. All right, that'll bring us on, if that's okay, to item number 4C, moving on to Administrator Taylor. Looks like you have no items for action, but items to be presented for information this evening?
Yes, I do have a couple comments. One was that the materials were delivered for the new bait shop boathouse, and we're very excited to see that project starting to grow walls. The next item that I would like to point out is that our PBC met this week, our Public Building Commission met this week and identified an architect that will be involved with the project to build the new animal control shelter. And so the survey is being completed right now through Binward as the first step in that project. To identify the exact 10 acres that we will be occupying, and the architect will be starting right away. And so we are seeing that project take off as well. Lastly, our elevator replacement project through our bond issue is also taking off, and the first elevator to see that facelift will be in the museum, and we expect that later this month. Is that correct, Tony?
That's correct. Next week, we're inspecting to begin some of the general contractor work of building out the elevator room.
So those are my updates for property.
Additional questions or comments? I did have one question, if I could, for administration, or just a point of clarity for the rest of the committee. Last month, we spoke about the contract that would be used for Kamlara Park regarding the beaver population there, and that item was tabled. I was just wondering if we had any particular updates or anything to speak of as far as working with some of those organizations that had been called out, or potential additional information that could be helpful for the committee as we move forward in conversation with it.
Yes, so we did discuss in administration bringing back the tabled item this month, but since we identified through the work of Brad Wood and the folks from the Illinois Beaver Alliance and the Raccoon Ranch, that this was the birthing season, that we decided not to bring that back this month, even though it would have been a tool that we could have utilized in the future. We feel that we have plenty of time to still bring that back to you as needed. And we are working with both, I believe it is Katie with the Illinois Beaver Alliance, has been approached to come up with a plan to humanely identify how many beavers we have in that area, and also the best strategy to preserve the beauty of the park as well as the beauty of the natural habitat.
Thank you very much for that update, and thank you for the work that everybody has been doing behind the scenes to get together the right folks to get the information out there and for conversation moving forward as to what we might need to do to support the next steps. Member Byrne.
Yes, question for Administrator Taylor. There is an element of risk that's still there to property and patrons there. Have we had any input from insurance or anything like that to help maybe quantify some of that risk or get some more guidance about, like, how quickly do we need to move on this, putting up tree barriers or anything like that? Has there been anything like that as far as you're aware?
So it's my understanding that operations supervisor has mitigated the risk for the immediate area that will be occupied by people. And so we have not reached out to our insurance carrier because we did not feel there was a need at this time. We are still identifying the barriers that would go around specific trees in the old growth trees. And we believe that our partners that are working, those not-for-profit organizations that work with those animals, will be reaching out to us very soon.
Any additional comments or questions for Administrator Taylor? All right, thank you very much. That moves us along to other business and communications. Heads up, our next meeting is May 4th at 5 p.m. Hopefully, we'll be able to have a full house and some additional great discussion. But in the meantime, any additional comments or questions for other business? One more big, rousing thank you for everyone within administration, as well as in the department heads who were able to come together and give us, again, a really informative experience on the property tour last week. It was fantastic. Thank you very much. And thank you both for your presence here this evening and your information. Have a fabulous evening, and thanks for everybody's time.